private school in Abuja, American International Private School in Abuja. Also, he serves as a national vice president of Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship International, Nigeria. And we're honored he's available today to share his personal testimony. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, join me to welcome Barrister Isaac Okpanachi to share his testimony. Can we unmute Isaac, please?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Isaac Okpanachi. I bring you greetings from Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria. This is my testimony. I was raised in a church, very strict church, very disciplined church. I grew up in that church for 17 years. Never quite heard the gospel. I went to junior high school and became a rebel, became an outlaw. I became an Indian or marijuana addict in junior high school. Fast forward a little, I left school in June 1975. In December 1975, we came home on holidays, my sisters, my brothers. To be specific, on the 15th of December, I went into the bush with a friend of mine to smoke marijuana. 3 hours. At the end, going back to my father's house, stoned out of this world altogether. My uncle, who lived with us, looked me straight in the eyes and he said to me, Isaac, are you sure if you died you are going to heaven? I said, heaven? We're going to die at the age of 17. What have I done? This is how I tried to dismiss what my uncle said to me. It was too early for anybody to talk to me about dying. But that question messed up that evening for me. Whatever I did, the question pursued me. What if you die? Yes, such a question would bother me because I grew up in the church. But what could I do about it? I didn't know what to do. That night, as we went to bed, at 10 p.m., my eyes refused to close. I couldn't fall asleep because this question kept me awake. What if you die? Where will you spend eternity? Lying on the bed, unable to fall asleep. Suddenly, I remembered something that happened to me 3 years before that time. 3 years before that time, I was in class 2, form 2 of junior high, and I followed 5 of my friends to the River Niger to go and wash clothes. And a boy, junior to me, jumped inside the river and started swimming. I never learned how to swim in my life. But for a junior student to jump inside the river and try to outdo me became an issue. And one of my own classmates said to me, Isaac, 2 years you have been in this school, you cannot swim. This boy that came yesterday, he's swimming, you're a lazy man, you're lazy. So I told them, you think I cannot swim? Because I don't want to swim? I said, if you can swim, show us. See river, show us. People, this is how I took 3 steps back. Ran. Jumped into the river and I sank to the bottom of the river like a stone. All was in my effort to square up to the junior student. As many of you as know anything about river, before river carries you away, river will show you to the world 3 times. You will sink, you will come out. You will sink, you will come out. If you come out the 3rd time, nobody helps you, you know you are dead. Yours sincerely was thrown up 3 times. But after some time, I found myself in the sand by the side of the river. What happened? The best boy in our class, one of the 5 of them, that came, jumped inside the river after me. When he saw I was struggling, he risked his life. The most dangerous thing anyone can try to do is try to save somebody who is drowning. Paul is his name. He brought me out. That is why I'm alive today. I'm lying on the bed on the 15th of December 1975, unable to fall asleep. I'm saying to what my uncle said to me, too early to die. I'm only 17 years old, but I was 14 when I nearly drowned in the Niger. So I saw the folly in my argument. That was the reason I climbed out of bed, knelt by the side of the bed, and began to talk to Jesus, consciously, deliberately, knowingly. For the first time in my life, I'm talking to Jesus as if I believe there's somebody there. Before that time, I used to pray before eating or pray before lying down, but nothing real. There was nothing real to it. I just said words. But for the first time in my life, I'm pleading with Jesus, because I knew that if I died that night, I had no chance in a million of seeing God because of the way I lived my life. I prayed. I cannot tell how long that prayer went, but I climbed back into bed and I fell asleep like a baby. Only that when the day broke and I came out, I was on cloud 9. Joy, peace, love in my heart as I never felt before. I fell in love with everything I saw. Fell in love with people, fell in love with house, fell in love with the ground, fell in love with the sky, fell in love with goats, fell in love with sheep, fell in love with animals, fell in love with everything I saw. I began to say to myself, what's happening to me? Why am I feeling like this? Then I remembered people, 45 years have passed since I had that experience with Jesus, had that encounter with Jesus. What I can tell you, Jesus came into my life, order came into my life, purpose came into my life, discipline came into my life, direction came into my life. That is encounter. I gained admission, went to high school. From high school, I read law at the University of Lagos. It's been 45 years of following Jesus and seeing the faithfulness of God. Because of the shortness of the time I have, let me quickly draw your attention to 5 pivotal events in my life after I gave my life to Jesus. 1, I grew up in a church that didn't believe in the Holy Spirit. We never knew anything about Holy Spirit baptism. So, as an executive, I was a secretary of the Christian Corpus Fellowship. It's something like Peace Corps that we do in Nigeria. 1 year of service to the government. So, I was serving in a particular state. And one day, our president said, we who are members of the executive should go and pray for people to receive the baptism of the Holy Spirit. I didn't know anything about the Holy Spirit. Didn't know how to pray for anybody. But he did, and he thought that all of us who were in the executive committee could lay hands on somebody to receive the baptism of the Holy Spirit. When our president made this announcement, I wanted the ground to open and swallow me, but the ground didn't. So, the children, the young people who had been baptized in the Holy Spirit, knelt in front of us to lay hands on them. As I was trying to lay hands on a girl before me, suddenly, as if something hit me in my bowels, I started speaking in tongues uncontrollably. That was how I was baptized in the Holy Spirit in June 1983. That was one pivotal thing that happened to me. I joined the Full Gospel in 1985. And Full Gospel taught me how to give to God. I got married to this lady sitting by my side in 1990. And God has helped us. In 1998, we founded a school that is called International Community School. It's an American curriculum school, one of the best schools in Abuja here. Then in 2005, God touched my practice exponentially, my law practice. God opened doors, 5 consecutive doors, major briefs that God gave us, and God pushed us to the pinnacle of our profession here. Finally, last thing I'd like to share with you, God gave me a literal vision in April 2004 to start doing medical outreaches in rural areas in Nigeria. between 2005 and now, we have done 47 of those outreaches. We are giving eye operations, we're giving medical operations free of charge. God has allowed us to reach over 50,000 people in various villages because God put his resources in our hands